Hi everyone, I'm Tim Kitzrow. This is not NBA Jam. This is a paid-for introduction for Big Rye and the Fat Guy. Whoa, boom shakalaka.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all you diehard football fans out there, welcome back to Big Rye and the Fat Guy. It's that time of the week again where we put our crystal balls to the test and try to predict the unpredictable. That's right, it's time for the NFL Week 5 picks against the spread. This video was filmed before lines officially dropped at Pinnacle, so these picks will be based around my own look-ahead lines for Week 5. Let me know in the comment section below how off I was on my look-ahead lines so I can make some adjustments and improve these lines for Week 6. So we still don't have the results of the Monday Night Football game between the Seahawks and the Giants, but currently Fat Guy and I are 29, 33, and 1, 46%, the worst we've ever done, but who cares? On to the picks. We start off with the Chicago Bears traveling to Washington to take on the Commanders on Thursday Night Football. I don't have to convince you that the Bears have been terrible to start this season. One of my favorite metrics to measure how a coach and a team have been performing is their against the spread record. And boy, is it bad. The Bears are 0-4 against the spread on opening lines, 0-3-1 against the spread on closing lines. They have underperformed in every game this season. According to the odds makers, the Bears were projected to win roughly 7.5 games this year. At this point in the season, the Bears are on pace to finish with an estimated 6 wins. On the flip side, the Washington Commanders have had a promising start to the season despite being 2-2, with wins over the overperforming Arizona Cardinals and the underperforming Denver Broncos. At the start of the season, the look-ahead line for this game would have been close to a pick'em. But with how these teams have looked to start the season and the Bears traveling to Washington on a short week, has me picking the Washington Commanders at the minus 3.1 favorite look-ahead line. The 2023 NFL International Series continues with its second game outside of U.S. soil. The Jacksonville Jaguars will take on the Buffalo Bills at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. The look-ahead line of Buffalo minus 6.3 might seem low, and you're probably correct. Unless you really boost the team strength of teams like Buffalo and Kansas City, you will always end up with their lines seeming a bit too low. So at this price, I will be picking the Buffalo Bills, but this line could pass over the key number of a touchdown, which seems like a good place for this line to live for the upcoming week. I assume the Jaguars are going to be staying in London for the week, which will help with travel and rest, giving them a definitive advantage depending on how much emphasis you decide to place on that extra travel. However, the public will be high on the Bills, coming off possibly the most impressive win in the early season, taking down the once undefeated Miami Dolphins, who just came off a 50-point win against the Denver Broncos. Once again, I am picking the Bills at this line for the contest, but I would be hard-pressed to put actual dollars on this game either side. Back to U.S. soil, where we will start off with the New York Giants traveling to Florida to take on the Miami Dolphins. The Giants play tomorrow night, so there's a greater chance for there to be variance with this line if they happen to pick up any key injuries, so this look-ahead line, take it with a grain of salt. The Dolphins just came off a, in quotations, big loss to the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. But I'm sure there are still a handful of people who have the Dolphins as one of the top teams in the league, whereas the Giants have had a tough start to the season with their big loss to the Cowboys, as well as a big loss to the 49ers, barely squeaking by with that come-from-behind victory against the Arizona Cardinals. And with Saquon being injured, he started practicing again, but really him returning is only going to artificially move this line. I'm going to be taking the Miami Dolphins at minus 8.6 points on the look-ahead line. On to Foxborough, where the Pats host the Saints. The look-ahead line has the Saints as slight favorites, but the Saints haven't really lived up to their preseason projection of 9 wins, according to the odds makers, with how they've performed against the spread on closing lines, where they're 0-3-1. The Patriots haven't been doing much better, though, 1-3 against the spread on closing lines. A friend recently asked me, when is it time to start thinking about replacing Bill Belichick as the Patriots head coach? Since he asked me, it seems like that time has started now. Despite that, I will be taking the Pats in this game to rebound from their slow start. I'll take the Pats as 1.5 or 1.7 point dogs in this case at home. The Baltimore Ravens travel to Pittsburgh to take on the rival Steelers. For years, this line could have been chalked up as the home team at -3, no matter who it is and where they are. But this season, the projections say otherwise, with the Ravens trending up and the Steelers trending down. Against the spread, the Ravens are 3-1, whereas the Steelers are 2-2 to start this season. But where you can really see that discrepancy is in their point differentials. Through the first 4 games, the Ravens are plus 41, whereas the Steelers are minus 38. It seems like a lot of doom and gloom on the Steelers, but if the line opens at Ravens -4, I would jump on the Steelers as +4 dogs at home. This look-ahead line is probably too good to be true, but for the contest, I'm on the Steelers at +4.1 points. So the Carolina Panthers travel to Ford Field to take on the formidable Detroit Lions. It might be more recent than I remember, but my memory is absolute garbage. But when was the last time the Detroit Lions were touchdown plus point favorites? 8.6 is a lot of points. It actually ties them for the most likely to win this week, according to these make-believe look-ahead lines. If I could get the Lions at -6.5 as a play, I would. But at the same time, if I could get Carolina at +10.5, I'd be happy too. That's a pretty big discrepancy. Both of those are probably pipe dreams. I'll stick with the data I have about key numbers and take the Panthers at +8.6 points. The Houston Texans have been a popular team for sharp money through the first 4 weeks. The Texans have received the 4th highest percentage of money against the spread, despite being 27th in the percentage of bets placed on against the spread. Even though they're only 2-2 against the spread, the secret might be out that the Texans are not going to be pushovers this season. Houston has been trending up thanks to strong performances the past 2 weeks over the Jaguars and the Steelers. The milk's gone bad for the Atlanta Falcons, who have dropped their past 2 games against the Lions and Jaguars. The Falcons are 1-3 against closing spreads and have picked up a negative point differential over those back-to-back losses. Traveling back from the UK, can the Falcons rebound? As 1.2 point favorites at home, I say yes, they bounce back with another strong defensive performance. I've got the Falcons at -1.2 at home. The Titans travel to Indy to take on the Colts, where veteran quarterback Ryan Tannehill will come in as a slight underdog to 21-year-old rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson. Both teams have had strong starts relative to their opening win totals suggested at different odds makers. This should be a 5-star entertainment game that will probably go down to the wire. The public will probably be a bit higher on the Titans, who blew out the sluggish Cincinnati Bengals today, so I will lean towards taking the Indianapolis Colts at the look-ahead price of Colts -0.5 point. On to the midday games. The Bengals travel to the desert to take on the Arizona Cardinals. Even though it might not seem like it, the Cardinals have been one of the biggest surprises through the first 4 weeks of the season. They are 3-1 against the spread despite their 1-3 record straight up. The Cards' abysmal projection from the odds makers of 4.17 wins has been trending up with their ability to compete in games. Compare that to the Bengals, who have had the biggest fall since the start of the year. The Bengals were the favorites of the AFC North and had the 3rd highest odds to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Now, according to the make-believe rankings, they are only slight favorites on the road to the once worst team in the league, the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to hop on this train and pick the Arizona Cardinals to continue their strong year against the spread. I've got the Arizona Cardinals pretty much +1.5 points at home. Eagles at the Rams. I am going to be taking the Rams as home dogs at +3.5 points. The Rams have been the best team against the spread to start the season at 3-0-1 on closing lines. The Eagles have played well, but the strong coaching of Sean McVay has allowed the Rams to play above their weight class after the key losses to their roster this offseason. I'm prognosticating this will be a 5-star entertainment game as the Eagles fight hard with tired legs as they travel to the West Coast. Eagles by 3 is the most likely outcome. I'll reiterate though, I'm on the Rams as +3.5 point home dogs. Chiefs take their talents to the Skull Dome to take on the Minnesota Vikings. My early look-ahead line has this as Chiefs -4.3 favorites on the road, passing a few key numbers but not quite making it up to that 6-7 point range where this game could possibly settle at. I'll take the Chiefs in hopes this 4.3 line is conservative. Even though the Vikings have struggled to start the year, it's good to know that it hasn't been at the expense of Kirk Cousins because his NEA is one of the highest in the league. Ironically, to start week 4, he was tied for 4th place among all quarterbacks with Chiefs Patrick Mahomes with an NEA of 6.98. With the turf, I'm expecting a fast, high-scoring game. We are on the Chiefs at the make-believe line of -4.3 points on the road. JETS, Jets travel to Mile High to take on the Broncos in the Under Bowl. If you love defense and don't like scoring, this is the game for you. Fat Guy will definitely be tuning into this one. The Jets are artificially overrated by my look-ahead line, so it's a little bit unfair. I'm going to be taking the Denver Broncos as plus 1.2 underdogs at home. There's not much else to add about this game other than Russell Wilson's start to the season has analytically been stronger than the eye test has led us to believe. I've got the Broncos as slight dogs at home. Sunday night football. Cowboys, 49ers, game of the week, 5-star entertainment for sure. How will the Cowboys' star-studded defense line up against the 49ers' star-studded offense? In the current NFL, for me, the tie is going to go to the offense. I will take the 49ers since they are on the good side of 3 with a projected line of minus 2.8 points. Brock Purdy has been one of the best quarterbacks in football. Christian McCaffrey has been rolling. The Cowboys have to travel over a few time zones. I expect the actual line to be probably San Fran minus 3.5, where I don't see any value on either side. But in a juiceless contest on the right side of 3, give me the Niners at minus 2.8 points. Monday Night Football, Packers, Raiders. Big Rise, a look-ahead line at Green Bay, minus 2.7 points, and we will be taking the Packers as road favorites. This line could open up as high as Green Bay minus 4 or minus 4.5, depending on who is going to be playing quarterback for the Raiders. Analytically, Jimmy Garoppolo has had a strong start to the season, but the Raiders, from a ranking perspective, are near the bottom of the league. And Jordan Love has started the season strong but struggled against the Lions on Thursday Night Football. I expect a bounce back from the Packers, who can use the extra rest from that Thursday game to be ready to go on Monday night. I've got the Packers minus 2.7 points. All right, guys, on to the lightning round. Big Ryan, the Fat Guys, picks against the spread. We got Chicago at Washington. I've taken Washington minus 3.1. On to the Sunday International Series game between Jacksonville and Buffalo. We have Buffalo minus 6.3. On to the Sunday early games where we got Giants at the Dolphins. We've got the Dolphins as big favorites here at minus 8.6 points. On to New Orleans at New England, where we have the Pats as slight dogs at home, plus 1.7. Then on to Baltimore at Pittsburgh, where we get the rare AFC North Pittsburgh underdog at home. I will take those points happily. Pittsburgh plus 4.1. Next up, we have the Carolina Panthers at the Detroit Lions. I am on Carolina plus 8.6. I got the Lions winning this one by a touchdown. On to Houston at Atlanta. I've got Atlanta minus 1.2. Tennessee at Indy. We've got Indy as slight favorites at home. Cincinnati at Arizona. We have Arizona, surprisingly, as very, very slight favorites over the Cincinnati Bengals. This line probably would have been Cincinnati minus 7 at the start of the year. On to Philly at the LA Rams. I am happily going to take the Rams at plus 3.5 at home. They've been the ATS darlings to start this season, as well as Arizona. And then we've got Kansas City at Minnesota. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs as just over 4-point favorites on the road. We've got the New York Jets at the Denver Broncos. I'm going to take the Broncos as slight underdogs at home. But this one's a little unfair because the Jets' look-ahead lines are a little bit wonky with the Rodgers injury. On to the Dallas at San Fran game. San Fran, I will happily take at minus 2.8. I think this game will probably sit around San Fran minus 3.5 when it's all said and done. And then on to the Monday Night Football game between the Green Bay Packers and the Las Vegas Raiders. I am going to take the Green Bay Packers at minus 2.7. Congratulations to the 2023 Week 4 Picks Against the Spread winner. This is no fluke. Wook Dog at the top, as always, 11-4 against the spread. Congratulations, Wook Dog. 73% against the spread, and it could be 12-4 depending on Monday night. Again, congratulations to Wook Dog, 11-4 against the spread. We have Setuple, Billy369, Cash Only, No Checks, and CSK. All 10-5, very, very respectable. Everyone on this list from 1 to 10, very respectable weeks, all winning weeks against the spread. So congrats, guys, on making the top 10 for Week 4 Picks Against the Spread. And then taking a look at the overall leaderboard at the close to the end of Week 4, we still have the Monday night game, but we have Hodge, Boom, or Bust, as well as the strong week from CSK. 37 wins apiece, 63 games in, just slightly under that 60% mark that we usually see the leader around. So congrats, guys. Very, very strong. And a shout out to Mickey as well, 36 wins, 58.1. He is hot on your guys' tail.
This is the JS715 Name of the Week. Whoa, kaboom!
And the JS715 Name of the Week goes to Big Rye, going to spend a month analyzing Kansas City line moves from the Swifty effect. I just can't escape it, guys. I've been seeing this stuff everywhere, and I'm going to have to look into it. I'm going to have to see how this affects the betting line. So congratulations on the JS715 Name of the Week. Remember to compete every week at BigRyeandTheFatGuy.com. Don't forget to subscribe to Big Rye and the Fat Guy for weekly NFL picks. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a video again, and give us a thumbs up if you're excited for Week 5 of the NFL season. Thank you for tuning in. Make this a winning week in the NFL.